And welcome everybody to a very special episode of the Final Yard. I am your host, Louis Song, and I will eventually be joined by some of my cohorts on here. But let me tell you something today. I am a very happy man, and I'm going to tell you exactly why that is the case just as soon as we get through here with our sponsor, ThriveFantasy. If you're looking to get into fantasy football but are not sure where to start and you want to go ahead and get some big wins in, go ahead and go to ThriveFantasy.com and go ahead and choose the props. They're all assigned a fantasy value for the over and the under. You just choose what they're going to do, and you can go ahead and you can win some money based on how much you choose to put in, how much you choose to enter. Just go ahead and get over there right now. You can get some big time wins, just like Miami got some big time wins today. Go to ThriveFantasy.com, use the link in the description below, or use the promo code Dolphins. I believe it's Dolphins now. It's for 5. I don't know what. The link is in the description. Just click on it. It takes care of the promo link for you. Let's talk some Dolphins football, ladies and gentlemen. So can you tell, Manny? Can you tell that I'm excited? Can you tell that I'm happy today? And do you know why I'm happy, Mr. Manny? Do you know why I'm happy?
Because the Dolphins won.
Not just because the Dolphins won last week. I wasn't happy, Manny. Do you know why they won?
They played a 60-minute game today.
They played with style, man. I was waiting for that. The style points. They won, and they won handily. They completely shut down the vaunted Baltimore Ravens, the 6-2 Ravens, the supposedly unbeatable Baltimore Ravens with John Harbaugh, MVP candidate Lamar Jackson, and they did it in a way that reminded me of the Dolphins defense from last season. And I'm gonna say this because I tweeted it out, is that this defense suddenly came on back 3 weeks ago, October 31st, officially, when Xavier Howard came onto the podium and he said that the defense made a great job making play calls because they got back to what they were doing last year as far as the coverages went. So you do have to ask the question, why did they change it in the first place? But we can get to that a little bit later because today there's so much stuff to talk about. Man, I don't know what went through the minds of the Dolphins coaching staff this week, but all of a sudden it's like they remembered, oh yeah, we're actually supposed to be good this season, aren't we? They started making interesting play calls. They started running interesting stuff with Albert Wilson. All this stuff with Albert Wilson today, Manny. All this stuff that we saw today was stuff that we were seeing in training camp, and it never materialized in the regular season up until now. Up until now, nothing happened. And all of a sudden, Albert Wilson is a featured part of the offense. All of a sudden, things start moving. The blocking is still, but you know what? It doesn't matter.
Listen. Let's not nitpick. By the way, I did ask you and Alfredo on last week's post game what's been going on with Albert Wilson, and then you see what he's doing tonight, and you're thinking to yourself, really?
They got him involved.
It took this long though to get him involved. But I think the most crucial play of the game was getting him on the run in motion and just having him go up the field. And Tua took a lick from Calais Campbell, but he stood in there and he actually delivered the pass.
Yes, they started running jet sweeps. They started getting creative. They started doing all this stuff that I've been begging them to do for years. I can't say for, well, actually, you know what? Yes, for years, because I've been wanting them to do this sort of stuff for a long, long time now. And finally, they came through on it, man. They finally came through on it. Yeah, I noticed Wilson still looked a little bit slow, but you know what? They got him involved, and it worked, dog. It worked. And, oh, by the way, can we talk about the elephant in the room? The very small, supposedly frail, fragile elephant in the room who was not allowed to start because his finger was hurting or some nonsense like that. They threw for, what's the stat line? He threw for 158 yards with only 8 passes that were completed. So what throws exactly was he's not able to make, Manny? And also Jacob. Hello, Jacob. How are you? What passes was he not able to make with his supposedly injured finger? So I know Jacob.
I can't.
Did it cease? Your ticket to ninth inning.
Yeah, there's no
third period.
Okay, it's the ESPN that's making that happen. So again, this, like, I'm watching the post game. Tua is absolutely on fire. He's ecstatic. And you know what? I don't blame him one bit because he had been waiting for his chance. Let me play, coach. I played on at Alabama against the other toughest team in college football. And not only that, I played well on one leg. He gets out there. Yeah, he looked a little shaky. But he started making things happen with the creative play calling that they gave him. Anything is possible. Yes, anything is possible. We doggone beat the 6-3 Ravens.
By the way, shame on you if you actually sold your tickets. I'm sorry, because this.
No, you know what? I feel bad now because I had actually advised a friend. I said, "Listen, man, the Ravens are going to put up like 60 on the Dolphins."
You know what, though, Lewis? In the history of the Miami Dolphins, and I've been alive for 33 years, isn't it just like a momentum or like a frequent thing where the Miami Dolphins sometimes play on prime time against teams where they're not supposed to win, and they just show up? Like the game against the Bears, the Monday nighter against the Denver Broncos back in the day when there was a super team with Terrell Davis and John Elway. And this game to me just kind of reminiscent of that. The game against the Patriots where they won wearing no offense, those awful orange jerseys. But still, it's like this is in the Miami Dolphins, I guess, blood system, and where they play these night games once in a while against a team that they're not supposed to even be competing against. And they just shocked the world, right? And
it's crazy because not only that, it was against Baltimore, who have had our numbers for years, man. Yeah. They absolutely hammered us for years.
The last Dolphins win was in 2015. Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback, and the Dolphins won 15-13.
Yeah, that wasn't even very impressive. And again, so Jacob, hi, it says you're speechless. I know your name is Jacob, but tonight your name is speechless. Go ahead. I know you're speechless, but try to give us some speech anyway.
I mean, all the things that were stacked against us, the prime time. Miami is not good in primetime games. Miami against Baltimore has been outscored just tremendously. The fact that they went in this game and beat the Baltimore Ravens, number one, and in prime time, just shows how much of a unbelievable performance that was. The fact that Tua comes in and lights it up, and I mean, it's just unbelievable. I have a big conspiracy theory that Tua was meant to play the whole game, and that it was just Brissett was bound to get hurt, and we just had to show the world that Tua is the franchise. Tua is able to get it done against Baltimore defense, and that's what happened tonight.
I mean, I had my own conspiracy.
But guys, let's just be really. I think Fox pointed it out like 3-4 times. The Ravens are the worst team in the league in yardage. They're the worst team in the league in big plays. So I'm not trying to sound like the Dolphins offense won this game, which in the end they did. But credit to this Dolphins defense. And
the defense, yes.
And I think that Lewis said it best. They went back to what, last year's defense was let's get up there, confuse the quarterback no matter who it is, the pressures, the blitzes, the schemes, and all that was put together. And for Coach Flores to put this together in a short-ass week, but then you start to scratch your head and you're like, where the hell
where was it before?
Where was this against freaking Jacksonville? Where was this against Buffalo? It's just those things you just scratch your head and you're like, really? Now is when you decide to do it? It's
Miami made Lamar Jackson look human tonight, and not many defenses could say
Jacob, Miami made Lamar Jackson look like a rookie.
He made him look like Geno Smith.
Made him look like Geno Smith was on the
outside of Miami. Outside of Miami. So, I was expecting Lamar Jackson homecoming. I was expecting it to be a bloodbath against the Dolphins. And you know what? Speaking of bloodbath, spoilers for everybody. Thank you, Dave, for giving us this little graphic right here. Congratulations, Dolphins, for absolutely wrecking Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. I'll tell you something right now. John Harbaugh looked like somebody who wanted to kill someone. He was pissed the whole game through because he could not believe he was watching.
Listen, that whole stadium was Baltimore fans, right? I mean, listen,
right.
Listen, Lewis, you know that I'm not a Dolphins fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I think it was 2 years ago when we came down here and we just took over the stadium. And when we lost, hey, I took my screams. I took trash thrown at me. It is what it is, bro, or whatever the case is. But listen, this is something that was definitely not seen. I didn't think it was possible. But, hey, anything is possible. But now what do you do going forward, right? And I think Jacob said it best. You just cannot go ahead and start any other quarterback for the remainder of the year, man. You got to give Tua the opportunity to get in there, stay in there, unless the man literally cannot walk. He should not be leaving that Miami Dolphins football.
I'm just curious to see what Brian Flores has to say in the press conference because that decision that decision to start Jacoby and Tua came in like nothing happened to him. And he even got hit in his bad hand on a pass.
It was kind of like doing this. Like,
and he didn't. Nothing looked wrong with him. So I'm curious to see what Brian Flores has to say about that, because that's just like unbelievable.
I won't say nothing looked wrong with him. I'll say that his passes maybe lost a little velocity. Maybe he was a little less accurate than we're used to. But again, that's something normal with a quarterback who's hurt. But that's just it, man. That's just it. You look at it and you just see that Tua still looks better than Brissett when he's fully healthy. And by the way, Jacoby Brissett, we make fun of Ryan Fitzpatrick for being upset about the fact that he was no longer the starter. Understand something. Fitzpatrick started the season playing football, and Tua came in after him. So yes, he was bummed that he wasn't going to get to play anymore. Brissett came in as Tua's backup. He has no right, none, to be pissed off on the sidelines because he got taken out of the game when Tua all along is supposed to have been the starter in the first place. Like, now that is somebody who I look at and it's like, what is your problem? Your team is winning. So you're just pissed off that you don't get to play? Like, you're not supposed to be playing anyway. And you knew that.
I want to emphasize the tweet that Kai sent out in the early parts of the game where Tua is on the sideline. He's not even starting. He's with the offensive linemen. He's talking to them. Brissett's on a complete opposite side of the sideline, just sitting down on the bench. And,
grousing.
And if that doesn't say what the kind of person and quarterback Tua and a leader Tua is, I don't know what does, because the fact is the Dolphins don't even like him. And everyone, the odds are stacked against him. And the fact that he's still doing this and leading this team when he's not starting is just like unbelievable.
I know. Yeah. Brian Flores has a lot to answer for. He does. Somebody better ask the question. Why did it take so long for you to make the choice to go to Tua after seeing what you just saw out there tonight? Because Tua did. If nothing else, Manny, if nothing else, you can at least admit this. When Tua went in the game, the entire atmosphere of the stadium changed. On the team side, on the fan side, everything.
Again, I've been saying it for weeks. I don't think he's at fault, man. I think there's somebody telling him to do things. But the way that his body language was when Tua went in the game, and Fox was really showing Coach Flores how much energetic he was, because he was already hyped up because of his defense playing well. Then he sees Tua going on the field. Again, I'm just, in my opinion, the decisions that were made going forward with not starting Tua, it goes beyond Coach Flores' hands. That's my opinion. All
right. So now
right? I'm just saying, it's hard for me to believe that he really didn't want Tua to play. But
I know, but that's what it felt like the whole time, Manny, because he's the only voice we ever hear. Chris Greer finally came out of hiding a little while ago, and he basically said the exact same things. Is that, we were doing our due diligence on Deshaun Watson. It was never really something we got close enough. Okay, yeah, blah, 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 blah. The same nonsense as always. And then you go right back into your little cave and never come back out again. So the only voice we hear is Flores.
Tell you now, but now going forward, you can't go back to anybody else. You just can't.
No, you definitely can't.
You're going to kill this fan base's momentum. You are basically going to tell your football team, if you don't start Tua next week, last week was basically a fluke. Like, no, you can't do that anymore, right?
The players know it, man. Like, I'm starting to think, because I'm very iffy. For anybody who's watching this and has no idea what I'm talking about, there was a scene last week where Landon Roberts basically pulled Tua aside, and nobody could hear what he was saying, obviously, but essentially he was. According to lip readers, he was basically saying that they don't appreciate you. It's all coaching. Don't let it get to something along those lines. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I am not into the whole lip reading thing. He could have said a number of things. But after seeing all this, it kind of makes you wonder, because it's like, do they appreciate Tua? It doesn't look like it. Do they want Tua to succeed? It kind of doesn't feel like they do. But nevertheless, he did exactly what he did back in Alabama. He overcame the adversity. And again, Baltimore, I know you put out the stats already, Manny. Baltimore has struggled. But you know what? We'd like to take the record into consideration about how good of a team was. Baltimore was 6-2 coming into this game. Yeah. Baltimore had Miami's number.
Wins over, of course, people are going to give a crap about Mahomes, but a comeback win against the Chiefs, They beat the Chargers. Who else did they beat? They beat I forgot what other teams they beat. I mean, they've had legitimate wins, right? But of course, their offense was always the one carrying them. Tonight, their offense couldn't even get a damn freaking touchdown till under 3-4 minutes. And by the way, though, these penalties, man, I get the first one, roughing the passer. I understand it, right? I mean, Baker's there. No need to pick him up and drive him. The one on Holland, the young player is trying to make a play on the safety, man, trying to get to the blitz. Hands up, trying to what do you want him to do? Not to put the hands up to try to get the ball? Like I don't know. It's one of those things. But still.
I just want to emphasize the Dolphins defense tonight because they've been absolutely struggling this entire season, and they play a close to perfect game against Lamar Jackson, an MVP. It's just you can't ask for more from this defense. And Javon Holland, unbelievable game. Jalen Phillips. I mean, all the rookies showed out today.
Most of the rookies. Liam Eichenberg didn't show up nothing.
Oh, yeah, well, non-offensive lineman rookies.
Yeah, but Eichenberg did recover that fumble.
Yes, he did.
I understand his main job was not done well, but he did one thing right, was jump on that football.
Yeah, no, he bailed
because what if Queens picks it up and returns it for a touchdown? It might be a different game.
Yeah, it might be.
But if he did anything right tonight, was actually follow the football. So,
and I heard Flores was calling the plays on defense tonight, rumored. And
he had a call sheet in his hands to say it tonight. Yeah.
So is that like saying that Brian Flores, like it was his first time calling the plays this year on defense? And
I don't even know if that's the case though, because Jake, and this is why it just feels like again the defense has been good for the past 2 weeks. Going back to Halloween when Howard said we went back to what we were doing well last season. But again, that brings up the question. Why weren't you doing this earlier? What were you doing before that the defense looked god-awful and then all of a sudden things turn up on Thursday Night Football on a short week and you go almost, and again, I can't even say it's night and day because again, it's been getting better for the past 2 weeks. So it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous how crazy it is. Javon Holland, I can't believe I'm saying this. I have to give credit to Chris Greer because Javon Holland looks like he's going to be an absolute stud of a player. I don't know if he's going to be the Micah Fitzpatrick of this defense. I think he could be the Rashad Jones, the way that he blitzes and plays the run.
One player doesn't save your job, man.
No, one player doesn't save your job, but Jalen Phillips looks pretty good.
2017 draft class, complete dud, and then 2021 draft class, like so far looks like a hit. So we'll see.
For the most part, except for again Eichenberg. Eichenberg is the only, and I guess we do have to have some kind of a negative in this game, and it's still the offensive line, man. Like they collapsed. If we have to be honest about something, if the offensive line hadn't collapsed again, Brissett would never have left the game. He would have been still in there. The Dolphins' offensive line crumbled yet again, and it ended up with Brissett on the sideline with his knee hurting, and Tua had to come in and okay, so according to the press conference that Flores said that Josh Boyer. Okay, so there you go, Jake. There's your answer. Josh Boyer.
Omar Kelly tweeted that he thought that that Flores was calling the game. So, like you said,
listen, Omar said that Tua was throwing ducks and that's why he's not playing. He got ratioed so hard, it's not even funny. So,
okay, but that just goes back to the fact that you were saying, like, what changed this game? What switched? You know what I mean?
What switched is just they changed the coverages. They went back to what they were doing. And again, you have to question why weren't you doing it earlier? But I guess it's too little, too late. I don't know if the season is salvageable. The way that let's look at it this way. Let's be honest about something right now. No team in the AFC right now is so good that you can't.
So inconsistent. All of them are so inconsistent.
Could you imagine?
I would say the Bills, but they just got
no, John. No, Jacob. No.
I mean, the Bills are gonna win the division. Let's not pretend otherwise.
No.
But if Miami wins out,
they have an
and goes 10-7,
because 3 wild cards, right?
They could get the wild card.
They can get in.
Like we're actually talking about this in a legitimate fashion because they've actually beat the Baltimore Ravens. And again, last week I was upset because of how they played against the Texans. They still looked god awful the whole way through. They looked awesome against Baltimore. That's why I'm happy today, ladies and gentlemen. That is why I am excited about what could be. What could be. I'm not even saying it's gonna happen.
Brissett played the whole game against the Texans in the offense.
And he looked awful the whole way.
Yep.
And Tua played one half against Baltimore. And again, he wasn't phenomenal. He wasn't awesome. But he had some incredible plays go his way. The Ravens, I don't know how the Ravens keep letting Albert Wilson go right by them. Like, what happened in Baltimore?
That's another thing. Go ahead. That's just another thing. Albert Wilson involved in this game. Where was he all season long? Where was his touches? Where was his receptions?
Good question. Preston Williams, by the way, I'm done with him, man. Don't care. Give me Mac Hollins, please, any day. It's like, go ahead and let Preston be inactive again. I don't see him doing much of anything. So I'm done with Preston Williams. I'll take Albert Wilson any day of the week now. Also, this is an interesting concept. Mike Gesicki. Gesicki was targeted 7 times, 0 catches. 0. Goose egg. So Baltimore effectively took Gesicki out of the game. Now, granted, he did have a couple of blocks, but or rather, not blocks. He got a couple of drops, but still. That's 5 targets unaccounted for that didn't go Gesicki's way. So
and then you got Miami making up for it. You got all the other tight ends making up for it. So they complimented him.
It's crazy. It's truly baffling that this is what happened. So I'm in shock. I'm in awe. I'm stunned beyond belief. And now I find myself questioning, okay, is there maybe more to I said this. I said Brian Flores would one day eventually be a good head coach. I don't know if it's going to be here in Miami, but there's something there. He knows certain things. He knows how to call a defense. He knows how to build a defense. I just think his decision-making is suspect. Because, again, why does it take you 9 weeks into the season to finally decide I'm going to do things the way that I was doing it last year when it worked? This has always been my gripe with Miami regimes, is that once they get something that works, they always go away from it, and then they try to fix the other stuff. It's like, don't fix the other stuff when you find something that works. You keep going with what works until it doesn't anymore, and then you try to adapt from there. So, yeah, absolutely. Whatever we did today, keep doing it. Yes, do that. What we saw today was that amoeba defense that we've been wanting to see for such a long time. That's what we were wanting to see.
The speed on the defense looked phenomenal. We were getting to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was not juking us every single play. There
was no room to go. There was nowhere to go.
Guys, so I am looking at these last couple of games of the Dolphins, and I think our man here on Jahi actually pointed it quite clear. So you got the Jets twice, Panthers, Saints, and Giants. All those games are so winnable.
Those are winnable, man.
I am sorry. Is Mike White even going to become whatever the Jet fans want him to be? Is he even healthy? Panthers have no idea what the quarterback's going to be. Yes, Cam Newton came back, but let's be honest.
I'm not worried about Cam.
Cam Newton's going to beat you if you don't stop his running game, right?
Okay, well, if we can stop Lamar Jackson, we can stop Cam. Well, I'm not worried.
Well, no offense. When Cam was wearing the other colors up north, you guys.
But that was a while ago, man.
All right. Well,
and again, if you had to choose a quarterback, Manny, who would you choose, Cam or Lamar?
Oh, Lamar all the way, man.
We stopped Lamar. I'm not worried about Cam.
What worked tonight was they decided we're not going to get beat by big plays down the field. We're going to contain it. If they get a first down of 12 yards, whatever, we'll deal with it. The whole point was not let Hollywood Brown beat you deep, not give Lamar those extra strides of runs and extra plays that he's been doing all year long. And to be honest, that's quite difficult to actually contain a guy of that stature, in the pocket, right? And then that's what I give these pass rushers they're huge kudos. It's because sometimes a young player like Phillips and these other guys, they want to just meet at the quarterback, but sometimes they go too wide or sometimes they break containment. And that's what Lamar has done so well throughout his whole career. He's been able to go around it and been able to make plays. Tonight, you didn't see that much. And he got hit so many times, and he was so worried in his mind that he was going to get tapped, right? All of a sudden, as the game progresses, he's not elusive anymore as he once is. The running game is not there, right? And I think tonight Brian Flores showed that he can make an MVP candidate look like a rookie again. And you got to ask yourselves, why did it take a game of this magnitude in this particular moment of the season for this to happen, right? Because this has nothing to do with Tua. It's talking about the defense. It's talking about one of the most aggressive defenses last year that we saw that returned interceptions and fumbles for touchdowns, got off the field on third down, and just created more possession for your offense to score points. Why did it get to this point? Those are questions that I think Brian Flores has to give to the fan base, not to the media, not to the reporters, to the honest fan base of this team that go there week in and week out and tailgate their asses off for 4, 5, 6 hours, go to the games, and even the fans that traveled, right? Because I know people waste tons of money throughout the year. You have to answer to them and be like, hey, forget Tua in the offense. Where's this defense been? You're going to be kidding me.
Yep, that was that. And that's what I'm saying. The decision-making is questionable. He took this long for him to go back to what was working. And that's why I've always been frustrated with these regimes is when they decide, you know what, I'm just going to go with what doesn't work first and try to fix it before I go to what actually does work. It took forever. But you know what? If this is I hope, if nothing else, that this is a wake-up call for Flores, the rest of the coaching staff, and even to some extent the players. Because now they realize, oh, we can actually do this thing. We can actually beat these guys. And if that's the schedule we have here, what is it now? We're at 3-7, so that's 10 games in. So we have 7 more games. What's the rest of the schedule like? Let me see real quick. So let me see. Because we don't have to play. I know we don't have to worry about Buffalo anymore, so that's done. So
the Jets twice. I know
the Jets are coming up. The Panthers, the Giants, the Jets again, the Saints, the Titans. Tennessee might be tough with Derrick Henry.
But that's one game out of 6 or 7, right? Like,
yeah.
Is that the first time we're
listen,
playing
as long as they're competitive.
That's the Tannehill revenge game.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And New England one more time. So, but there's if they play like this tonight, there's a very distinct chance Miami could win out and maybe even get a wild card. They could actually do it. They could pull this off, but it hinges on them being able to play like this every single week. This upcoming, like if they can play like this against the Jets, I'm not worried about the Jets, man. The Jets are god awful. If they can play like this against the Jets, no issues. Done.
And if it isn't for the wild card, let's play for the Eagles not to get a top 5 pick.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all of a sudden, Manny. I'm sorry, Manny. Manny, I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, listen, the worst comes to worst, we'll have 3 top 15 picks, man. I mean, that is shit, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Listen. You guys have your own beef to deal with Chris Greer. I have my own beef with Howie Roseman, man.
You're not happy with Howie Roseman?
No, it's just he takes messages from the owner, right? And that's what I'm saying, that I don't think that Brian Flores is at fault for these, not for everything. He's the head coach, obviously, right? When the team doesn't perform well, you look at the head coach, hey, what? But there's certain decisions that to me it goes beyond an NFL head coach's, I guess, section or environment or however you want to put it into place. Howie Roseman just is a yes, sir. Yeah, and then you see our coach. I don't want to get into it, man. I'm going to get too hyped up. Bro, all you need to know is that our head coach compared a football team growing as a flower that you plant and it gets sun and it gets water and it blows up beautifully. How is $90 million player supposed to look at that and say, oh, shit, yeah, that makes sense? Okay. I guess I'll take Dan Campbell and his Oklahoma drills. Dan Campbell with the kneecaps and stuff like that. All right?
Someone asked if you see the Dolphins going 500. I think, of course, it's totally possible.
Well, you can't go 500 anymore.
No, you need at least win 6.
No, what I'm saying is, Manny, you literally can't go 500 anymore because there's 17 games in the season now. So there's no more. There's no more 8-8.
That's right. It's either
7.25
or it's 0.575 or whatever.
Yeah, it's either 9-8 or 8-9. So one way or another, you're gonna be in a percentage either up or low. So it's crazy to me that this took this long. And also, I guess we're gonna have to talk about this. Robert Hunt should be the next fullback for the Miami Dolphins. Just this man, like I'm gonna come to his defense here for a second because he got called for an eligible receiver and blah 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 and whatever, right? So listen, the ball's coming at you. It's instinctual. And by the way, if Gaskin wasn't going to catch it, even if Hunt did leave it alone, because Hunt was in front of Gaskin. So the ball was either going to go to Hunt or was going to hit the ground.
100%. Yeah, we got an extra play out of that because he
exactly.
scored.
So, and if nothing else, we got to enjoy the funniest thing that I've seen all night long. It was fun to watch. This is the first game that I fun watching.
The rest of the world got to see it too, not just Dolphins fans. Well, the rest of the world got to see that, and that's the good thing about primetime is they were able to see the Tua to Waddle connection. They were able to see Tua throw his 2 longest balls of his career this game. So,
and again, the throw the longest passes. Robert Hunt, man, like he's a character. I'll say that, and I like Robert Hunt. Like in some ways, he had his moments screwing up too, because I think there was at least one sack where Hunt actually ended up blocking Austin Jackson into another defender, and that's what opened up the hole for the other guy to sack Brissett. But at the same time, I can't really be mad about that, and the reason why is because it just shows that Hunt can move people whenever he wants to. Like he just said, "Get out of my way, boy! You bother me."
I mean, these guys are athletic, but sometimes the IQ during the plays, it's just like you got to be smarter than that.
If I were Brian Flores, and if I somehow survived this season because my team suddenly woke up and realized how to play football again, I would ask Stephen Ross, and I would make some phone calls, and I would literally do everything in my power to convince Dante Scarnecchia to come out of retirement one more time. I know he did it for Brady and he did it for Belichick. Would he do it for Brian Flores? Hey, Dante, it's Flo. How you doing, man? Like, hey, do you think you could come back just one more time? At least train the guy who's going to be replacing you in a year. Just one more year, man. One more year. Please, one more year. I'd be good with just that much. Let Scarnecchia work with him for 1 year, and let's see how good they get.
And you saw Miami try to be creative on offense with like the 2 trick plays. One was the lateral behind the line of scrimmage, and they tried to. It was
the most bizarre flea flicker in the history of football.
And then the flea flicker to Myles Gaskin, who somehow got positive yards after this. It's not pretty, and things need to be cleaned up. But they're trying to be creative, but it's just not working.
No, they did. I said this on Twitter too during the game. It was just that I was thinking to myself, that in order for them to fall for the trick plays, you actually have to do the trick part of the play every once in a while. And it worked. They did it, and it worked. You know why? Because they were expecting the obvious thing to happen again. They were looking at this and being like, oh, wait a minute. They actually put the ball over there. They're supposed to hand it off to Gaskin for the umpteenth time. And they fell for it.
But did they fall for the flea flicker?
I mean, they didn't really fall for the flea flicker so much. Like they were coming for Tua. That's why he had to dump it off to Gaskin in the first place.
They couldn't even run the flea flicker. Right.
But I'm talking about like the jet sweep to Albert Wilson, because like he got positive yards out of that. Again, it wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but everybody was looking to see, wait a minute, isn't Gaskin supposed to have the ball? Or the pass to Durham Smythe, the little dump off to Durham Smythe. They were like, wait a minute, why doesn't Gaskin have the football? Because they never do anything other than the most obvious. And this time it worked. And now defenses are going to have to prepare for it. They're not going to be able to hone in on them every single time. But Miami cannot let their foot off the gas for even a second. They cannot let this go. They have to keep this momentum. They have to keep the creative play calling coming. They have to make sure that other defenses are aware that Albert Wilson could be running down the sideline any minute, that Jayden Waddle could be coming around the edge and he might do something crazy, that Albert Wilson might actually drop back for a pass and hit somebody deep down the field a la Ronnie Brown and the Wildcat. I was talking about this on Twitter. I was saying a lot of stuff on Twitter this week that seemed to come into play here this week. Think about the original Wildcat. The Wildcat worked Patrick Cobb, yeah. But the original Wildcat worked with Ronnie and Ricky because not only did it work because there were some times where Ricky would have the ball, Ronnie would sometimes have the ball, but more than once, Ronnie would actually drop back and throw the football. And one of the highlights of that Wildcat thing was that Ronnie would take the direct snap, Pennington would come up behind him, Ronnie would throw it back to him, and he would go down deep. So there's always that extra threat. The Wildcat, the way that it was originally designed, I'm willing to bet could still work. in today's offense, in today's NFL. The Wildcat, as we have come to understand it in modern times, which is just a direct snap to Gaskin and he runs straight ahead, that's never going to work again. Never. But the Wildcat, as it used to be, could work. And if you throw the trickery in there every once in a while.
In a 17-game season, I think the defense.
Not in a 17-game season. I'm not saying that is going to be the main offense. I'm not saying that's the main offense, not by a long shot. But that's the kind of trickery, the kind of creative play calling that made that offense fun to watch. Is Ronnie going to run the ball? Is Ricky going to keep it? Is he going to throw the ball? Is Chad going to throw the ball?
Going to catch it in the end zone from Ronnie Brown?
But that's the thing, man. You throw them off balance. That was what the Wildcat was designed to do. It threw Belichick and the Patriots off balance, and they looked like fools that whole game. And that's exactly what Miami did tonight. Not with the Wildcat specifically, but they threw the Ravens so off balance that they could never catch up. Even when the offense still didn't look great, okay? But it looked. But with the added play calling, the extra little wrinkles that they threw in here and there, it completely threw Baltimore off.
Lewis, and you bring up such a great point, right? Because what's the Ravens' strength on defense? Getting to the quarterback, the pass rush, right? They use that against them. And I think that's something that, yes, it didn't really, work, I guess, with Jacoby a little bit. Yes, they got down the field because he was able to scramble and hit forward on a deep pass and stuff, but they kept them off balance enough that when you needed those first downs in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, by that point, it was like, okay, well, we're just going to all out, just try to stop whoever's at quarterback. But then you have Tua, right, who couldn't throw, who couldn't make these throws, right? All of a sudden, ding, dong, ding, and you're like, oh, okay, now what do we do? And then you basically just use their pass rushing skills that they have up front. You tired them out, throughout the whole game, right? I mean, that's basically what they did.
Yep, and that's what worked. Now, where does Miami go from here? And first of all, by the way, I want to go ahead and give a shout-out to Alfredo Arteaga in the chat. This team needs to hit on the offensive line like they hit on the defensive line. Let's talk about the defensive line for a moment right here. Jalen Phillips looks like he's going to be a stud. Christian Wilkins, very quietly having an incredible season, okay? I don't ever want to hear bust again when it comes to Christian Wilkins. Never. He can play. He's just not flashy about it. Then Adam Butler came to play today. Zach Sealer.
The RV man himself.
Zach Sealer's a beast, okay? They hit big on him. So the defensive line is solid for Miami. Raekwon Davis, solid. Christian Wilkins, solid. Adam Butler, Emmanuel Ogbah. I don't know why he's not extended yet. I'm not saying he's a premier pass rusher in the NFL or anything, but he knows how to play football. He should be extended by now. So does Mike Gesicki, but that's a story for another day.
Could have had TJ Watt, but I'm not complaining.
I mean, well.
We're missing a TJ Watt. I mean, it would be nice to have a TJ Watt type.
Yes, it would be nice to have a Well, you know what? Maybe Jalen Phillips. Oh, and Tua. Check that out. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Tua just went into the press conference and said that he got 0 first-team reps in practice. So all that nonsense about how, we'll see what happens on Thursday. Oh, that's baloney. It's bullcrap. Tua is basically calling out Flores saying, no, I wasn't going to start. I wasn't even supposed to play. Did you not see I didn't have my war paint on? I wasn't expected to go in.
I just did that. I was upset. I didn't play. I took it personally. I got in there, and I won the game.
Is that what he actually said?
No.
I'm about to say, it's like if he did say that, holy smokes.
No, I'm not trying to be negative here, but if there was any football team out there, if the Dolphins end up doing whatever I guess most of us think would happen with Watson in the offseason, any other team that just watched what Tua went through tonight and what he accomplished, there's any questions what this young man can bring to your football team, man, I mean, I'm just saying.
It's incredible.
I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but
I mean, Manny, there's something we got to talk about.
This comment that he had the balls to say this at the press conference,
that he didn't take any first team reps. Yeah,
of course. I mean, no, I'm not.
Hey, he's just being honest, man.
Yeah, but those are things that maybe you just want, especially with all the quarterback controversies and you not being able to start consecutive games because you couldn't make the throws, and then you come on and say, "Well, I had 0 reps."
Did the reporter ask if you got the reps? Like that's.
I don't know. I'm just reading.
We'll find out later. The transcripts will come out, and believe me, there will be stories about this. There's gonna be
Reasons is definitely gonna post that interview with Tua, and we can both look at it and read it and see what we want to say.
Oh no, for sure. Flores. Listen, we can give him credit for tonight, but he's got a lot to answer for, man. He's got a lot he's got to answer for. Why did you wait? Why did you not let Tua play? Why did you make him active if he's supposedly too hurt to play? Why, if you're so worried about his well-being or his injury history, why is he even active on game day? If he's hurt, you should have got this new kid, wasn't Jacob Dolagala or whatever, and said, you're going to be the backup if something goes wrong. But you know what? Tua came in. He looked fine. I'll say this. His passes looked a little less velocity. His accuracy wasn't as good as we expect from him. So I'm not gonna say his finger didn't affect him at all. It did.
Even with all that, he made a deep.
But he still looks better than Brissett.
He still looked better than some of his games earlier this season.
So now just imagine for a moment. You think that Justin Hill thinks that it's Chris Grier? It could be. Man. It really could be. Who knows?
I've been saying it.
But you know what? If that's the case, then that means that Flores is just a dummy coach for Grier to boss around. In which case,
again, though, let's realize Flo has never had a head coaching position, right? He just took his first ever one. He's not gonna go in his second year of being a head coach and do something drastic. There's only 32 of these jobs. Right? I'm just saying, any veteran coach, Bruce Arians, and who else is a vet now? Because unfortunately, it seems like guys are leaving quite. Name me like a vet coach. I don't even know.
Marvin Lewis.
No, not. Oh.
You asked for veteran coaches.
No,
man.
I'm not even gonna go that route. And they're gonna look at me. Here comes Simba tweets. I can't wait. Simba's gonna be talking Marvin Lewis. No, this guy. This guy over here. Again, my previous point was Flo is not going to do anything to jeopardize his position right now. Maybe once he starts winning playoff games, then you get that grand opening. Oh, here we go. Here comes Cap. I knew it. Here he comes. You and Marvin Lewis, man. I seriously, I think
you got a bad rap.
Hold on, I have to ask: is there a Marvin Lewis poster around in your house? Or
no, I don't have posters in my house. I don't have posters of people in my house.
Marvin Lewis, Jesus, man.
You can't,
you can't let that name escape you.
Nope. He'd be my vote for a veteran head coach. I still believe it. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're not even.
A veteran head coach is not going to take orders from Chris Grier because
that's the thing.
I'm sorry, who are you? I don't know who you are. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. So now let's talk about this. Let's say, for instance, can you imagine just for 1 minute? Let's say again, Flores keeps his job. Tua gets to stick around. The best thing for Miami to do, and basically Alfredo said it in the chat, was that Miami needs to hit on offensive linemen. First of all, if I get whatever first round pick I end up getting from San Francisco, I'm going to try to get the top tackle prospect available. Charles Cross or whoever is available, he's my guy. End of discussion.
Agree.
Now, I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to make Teron Armstead a very rich man because he's a free agent in the offseason. So Cross can be one. Armstead can be the other one. I don't think Miami will do that, but he should. I'm going to see if I can get Brandon Scherf to break through. If they don't franchise tag him, I'm going to make him my new left guard because to hell with Austin Jackson. I'm so sorry. He's garbage. I might decide to go grab Austin Reeder. He can stay center. He's pretty good, all things considered. Right around Ted Karras, nothing special, but serviceable.
But at this point, where's your cap situation now? Because you're naming all these names, but in reality, you go out there and get top guys at tackle and at guard. Like, where does that leave you? I mean,
do you see the Rams, Manny?
Bye Fuller.
Okay, so now all of a sudden you want to be that team that's saying we're going all in?
Yeah, why not? We were supposed to be all in this year. But they forgot the offensive line.
From Tua though first before you decide to throw in all the chips and try to get all these other vets, dude. You want to see if Tua's the guy first.
How do you see if Tua's the guy?
You gotta.
If you don't give him a line to block with,
you gotta grow. You gotta get cohesive. You gotta be able to gel. You can't just say, "Oh, let's go and trade for OBJ. Let's go and trade for Von Miller." All right,
I don't need OBJ and Von. I don't need OBJ and Von Miller. I need a line. That's the only thing I want to spend on. Give me an offensive line. You can go cheap everywhere else. I don't care. I want an offensive line that can block. I want blockers.
Hey, listen. I'm with our man here, our last commenter. We could have had a running back a long time ago, but the Miami Dolphins expected, hey, Gaskin and Ahmed, you guys are it. We don't need to pick up nobody off the streets.
Malcolm Brown.
Hey, I told Dolphins fans what Malcolm Brown was. Well, all we need him to do is run straight ahead because Jordan Howard couldn't do it. Ooh.
Blocking. No blocking. Zero blocking. It makes my head hurt. So that's my offseason plan. I've laid it out for you, and I'm going to eventually write a story about it on 5 Reasons Sports. You can check that out on 5reasonsports.com whenever you want. I'm basically giving you the article before I write it.
Quick reminder, the Eagles went all in. Yes, we won the Super Bowl, but I am going through pain right now. I don't listen, when we won the Super Bowl, I told everybody around me, I don't care if we suck for the rest of my existing life, okay? 3-4 years later,
the things that I would do for a Super Bowl, Manny. The things that I would do for a Super Bowl, and then
I'll trade you your Super Bowl, Manny.
That's I'm sorry. I would do anything for a Super Bowl.
I want your Super Bowl, Manny. So that's my offseason plan. Teron Armstead, Brandon Scherf, Charles Cross, keep Austin Reeder. Robert Hunt can stay at right guard. I don't care. There's my offensive line. Boom. Fixed. Next question. Everything else, you figure it out from there. That's all you got to do, Parker. Man. But I don't.
Parker. Bye-bye, Preston Williams.
Bye-bye, Will Fuller.
Bye-bye, Will Fuller. Oh,
I didn't want Will Fuller
left already, man. Will Fuller's been out the door since preseason, dude. Which it pains me to say because I actually thought he wasn't going to be good for this team.
I remember Juan giving me such a hard time about the Will Fuller thing, and I said that Albert Wilson.
Me too, Lewis. Remember me? I was like, no, you got to give him time. Get to week 1.
He's garbage because he doesn't play.
I've been a more injury-prone player in my entire life. Like, that's saying
even Parker plays more than he does.
Oh, yeah, by a mile. Will Fuller can't go a single snap without getting hurt. And if one more thing, if Albert Wilson plays like he did tonight and just is consistent, I want Miami to re-sign him. I was losing my hope.
Cheap contract. He's not going to demand big money.
No, yeah, cheap contract. He's fast. He's athletic.
And he knows, and listen, that what we saw tonight, that is the connection that we saw with Tua all training camp. That was what made us excited for Albert Wilson's season, his breakout year, what he's going to go for 1,000 yards. None of that is happening, but what we saw tonight is exactly what we were expecting all season long. And I don't know why it's taking them this long.
When you make Lamar Jackson throw for 43 times in a game, I mean, that's pretty good. And you hold him, I think he had under 50 yards rushing. That's pretty good, too.
Mm-hmm. No, this team showed, if nothing else, this team showed that the talent is there. The decision-making on the coaching staff, though, that's where we have an issue. And that is what they need to fix more than anything else. If you fix this offensive line, all you need to do to get this offense up and running, I believe this with my whole heart. The only thing you need to do to get this offense running is fix that line. The moment that Tua had time to throw, the moment that Brissett, when he had time to throw, things happened. Good things happened every time that he actually had a moment to sit back there and actually survey the field without feeling like someone's breathing down his neck. Something good happened.
It goes back to you can't be a playoff team when you get pressured the most in the NFL. You can't be a playoff team when 3 of your offensive linemen account for the most pressures in the NFL. It's just not possible.
It doesn't work that way. All right. So I know that Manny's got to get going because the Miami Heat are currently doing stuff as well. So we're going to go ahead and end it right here.
I don't want to talk about that team.
I'm guessing the Heat are not doing quite as well as the Dolphins tonight.
I mean, Duncan Robinson airballed a 3-pointer. That's all you need to know.
So I think Duncan needs some time to chill, I guess. Go let him take a vacation or something.
Duncan needs to sit down and talk to Tua, and Tua needs to get in his head and be like, bro, what are you doing? I can't even get on the field. You're on the damn court. You can't even make a shot. Okay,
Man, he's upset. All right, so we're going to go ahead and call it here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. So finally, you have something to be happy about. Oh, my God, it feels so good.
We'll see you in a week and a half, and damn Jet
Victory
fans.
Friday.
Yep. So happy Thursday night football to everybody. We'll see you on Sunday next week. And by the way, once again, big thank you to Thrive Fantasy, our sponsor, for sponsoring today's video. Just go ahead and you can choose 10 of the available 20 players. Choose the over and the under on how well they're going to do. You could end up winning some big time cash. I'm glad that I didn't do it this week, though, because I would have bet on the Ravens, and oh my God, I would have lost so big. So there you go.
Hammer the over, baby.
Pick
No,
the under, baby.
Yeah, all right. It's like, good. Hey, there you go. There you go. You guys won. I didn't, but that's fine. As long as somebody's happy.
$5.
I'm happy. I'm happy tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Jets suck.